So I've been working with the iPhone 15 Pro Max as a film rig for a little bit now. So I've had a chance to play with it on shoots like a music video, film some behind the scenes, film some B-roll and different things like that. And during all of that filming, I've found that I favor some apps over others for specific reasons that we'll get into today. And so that's really what I wanted to make this video for, just to lay it all out for you, my personal taste of what I think about 3 different filmmaking apps for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which include Filmic Pro, the Blackmagic camera app, and then we're also going to be talking about the native camera app that comes on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. First, let's talk about the stock camera app. So if you guys don't understand what I'm talking about, it's literally just a gray icon. You guys know it, you've seen it in all the videos and on your phone yourself. So apart from the other 2 apps that we're going to be talking about today, this is an app that you don't have to download because again, it comes installed on your phone already, and it actually has the most simple UI out of all the different ones we're going to be using today. So if you're someone who's never used a camera before, this honestly may be the perfect app for you. But if you are someone who's used a camera before, well, we'll get into that here in a second. So on the stock iPhone app, you actually can record up to 4K 60 in regular ProRes. This is really cool. If you guys don't understand what ProRes is, it's a high-end video file to get you really good looking images. And so if you want to blow this up on like a 50-inch 4K TV, it's going to look really good. Now, the reason why the iPhone 15 Pro Max has been talked about by many filmmakers, YouTubers, videographers of all sorts this year is because of Apple Log. This is something that gives you a flat picture profile, making it super easy to work with in post. If you are someone who is an experienced videographer or editor, then you're going to want something like this. And so you do get that now within the native camera app. Now, before Apple actually made their own log format to actually record a flat picture profile or log picture on the iPhone, you would have to go out and purchase one of the other 2 apps or any other app on a Apple App Store to actually get a flat profile to do this. Now you can actually do it right within your native camera app, which is obviously super helpful, especially for people who are starting out and they really don't want to do a lot of research when it comes to watching videos like these on YouTube. They just want to pull out their phone, get a good image, and maybe send it to their editors. Well, the editors are going to love them now because they can get that image in log format and color grade it the way that they want it to look. Now, one of the other cool things about shooting with the native app is that you can also record to an SSD. So if you have a rig similar to what I have here, if you're interested in this rig, I have a video, you can find it right up here. This handle here actually has a 1 terabyte SSD built right into it. So whenever I connect my phone to this actual SSD, I can then record directly to it automatically. I don't have to go in and change any camera settings. It automatically records right to the SSD. So you may be saying, why is this helpful? Well, let's say for instance, if you're a mom and you're doing YouTube content or TikTok content or whatever it is, you're a content creator, but you have an editor. Well, now instead of having to transfer all that footage off your phone, which can take a long time, but with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, you do get faster transfer speeds. You can then instead record right to the SSD and then just drop it off to your editor. You don't have to transfer anything. Your editor is going to love you for this. And if you're editing it yourself, you're going to love yourself for this because it saves you quite a bit of time of having to do that transfer. Now, aside from the transfer, it also allows you to record up to 4K 60 right within the native camera app as well. This is all completely free, which is crazy. So everything that we talked about so far, you can do all of these things all at the same time, right? So you can do 4K ProRes log and 60 frames per second all to the SSD. Now, as content creators and filmmakers, it's super hard to frame the image whenever you're out and about on the go, or if you're in the scenario like I'm filming here in the studio. If I was filming with my iPhone now, I literally couldn't see myself. So I have to do that thing where I walk back and forth from behind the camera to in front of the camera and maybe take a picture or something like that so that I could see how the image is looking so I can get my framing right. But again, with the native camera app, these are all things just built into the Apple ecosystem. You can actually view your camera and stop and start the recording all from your Apple Watch, which is obviously a huge plus. You don't have to even download anything. This is all built right into the Apple ecosystem. So you can set your phone on a tripod, get your framing right just by looking at your Apple Watch, and then you can even press record right from your Apple Watch and you're good to go. Now, all those things are huge positives to using a native camera app, but there are a few negatives as well, especially if you're an advanced creator like myself, or maybe you guys out there watching this video now. I assume you're probably an advanced content creator, and so you're gonna run into some things, well, like I'm about to talk about now. First, you just don't get any manual control over the camera settings. And so this is like obviously something you would want if you've used a camera before. You want to be able to control that shutter speed. You want to control the white balance. These are things that you really can't do. The only control that you do get is a box on the screen, which you can tap, and then you can pull up and down an exposure slider. But you really have no idea what you're adjusting when you do that, whether it's the shutter speed or the ISO or both at the same time. And so this is just something that you don't get in a native camera app, which is why you would go buy one of these other apps that we're about to get to here in a second. And having no control doesn't only stop at exposure and lighting, you actually don't get any audio control as well. So you can plug in a mic and you will get that audio into your native camera app, but you're not gonna be able to see your audio levels. And it actually does some type of auto leveling for you. And so you really don't even have a way of knowing if the source that you have coming into your phone is too loud or too soft. You just have to record the video and find out later if it is. So you don't get those controls as well. Also, like I said, it is a huge plus that you can shoot in 4K 60 in log, in ProRes, in the native camera app. But you literally have to use an SSD to do that. So if you want to record in 60 frames per second in Apple Log, you have to plug in an SSD. You're not allowed to do that without the SSD. In fact, when you try to switch it over to 60 frames per second in 4K Log, you're going to get this pop-up that you see on the screen. So to sum it all up, this is a great app if you're someone who's a beginner. Just don't expect any bells and whistles. So let's swing on over to one of my favorite apps that I've used for years and made plenty of tutorials about on this channel, and that is Filmic Pro. Now, first of all, the reason why I love Filmic Pro is because you get complete camera control. You can control your white balance. You can control your shutter speed. Now, on any app on your phone, you can't control the iris because all of the lenses have fixed apertures. But everything else you can't control, and this app allows you to do that. You even can place a box on the screen to decide where you want the focus to be. So if you're someone who's filming someone else, you can actually do some focus racking, a bunch of different things like that that you really couldn't do in a native camera app. So if you're someone who's an advanced creator, this is something that you definitely would want to have. And obviously you get control over your audio levels as well. You can connect Bluetooth microphones. You can actually see what device you have connected and then actually switch to that as well. Obviously, this is stuff that is a huge help whenever you're trying to film out in the field. You don't want to be guessing, thinking that you have the right audio source. You want to know, and you can actually see the audio levels on the screen the entire time. And speaking of seeing, you can actually wirelessly control the actual camera on your phone from a completely another device. So not only can you view your image from another device, but you can actually control everything that we've talked about so far and any other settings that really are available here. You can even change the codec, what frame rates, all of those different things. So if you're someone who films like in a studio like I am right now, you can have your phone set up as your main camera, and then you can be viewing what your phone is showing on your iPad here in front of you and actually changing the settings, dialing everything in. You can even reach over there and use an ND filter on your phone to actually get that all, lined up in good lighting. So this is super helpful because otherwise you would have to go back and forth, like I said before, with the first camera app and check the frame and adjust the exposure if it had manual control. Filmic Pro has its own format of log that they've used for years. And so if you are used to something like that, you can use that, or you can actually film in Apple Log, or you can film in ProRes, or you can actually adjust how big of the files you want of ProRes within here as well. You just get a ton more options when it comes to how you want to film your video, how much space you want to take up, and actually controlling the camera and everything else about the iPhone in general. And when you're using this app, you don't have to use an SSD to actually record in 60 frames per second. You can just record in 60 frames per second. No need for an SSD. So if you're someone who doesn't want to carry around something like this, or you can probably get a rig smaller than this, but if you just don't want to carry around an SSD to film in 60 frames per second, you can completely avoid that by downloading this app. So when it comes to the negatives that I can think about when using something like Filmic Pro, there are really only two that come into mind. I'm sure there's more, but in my head, there are really only two big ones that I can think about. And the first one is that it is subscription based. So this app will cost you monthly. I mean, you can do an annual plan and I think you save money. But either way it goes, you have to pay for this app monthly. Now, the other thing I was going to say is the fact that you can't hide everything on the screen to actually get a simpler looking screen when you're out shooting and you already have your settings dialed in. But I accidentally found out how to do that, and so that's not really a negative anymore. So I would say that there's only one negative to using Filmic Pro that I can think of, and that's the fact that it is subscription based. Now there are there's so many things that you can do with Filmic Pro that I didn't talk about today, like getting a clean HDMI out. I mean, really, when you think about bells and whistles, this is the app you want to go to when it comes to filmmaking on your iPhone. But there is a new player in town as of the last quarter of 2023, and that is the Blackmagic camera app. This app is absolutely amazing because, first of all, it is completely free. You do not have to pay for this app, nor do you have to suffer through any advertisements because you're not paying for the app. It's just completely free, so you can go download this app now on your phone and get to recording. Now, this app allows you to do pretty much everything that I've talked about before this point in this video, whether you want to record in 4K 60 without an SSD or with an SSD or an Apple log or in ProRes. You can change all of your camera settings like ISO, shutter speed. Now, Blackmagic cameras like the Blackmagic 6K and the Blackmagic 4K have some of the best menu settings, in my opinion, than any other camera brand. They're just simple. They're easy, they're super understandable. Like, you can just pick one up and easily start filming without knowing a lot about cameras. So they brought that same interface from their cameras directly to your phone, which is why I believe a lot of people are falling in love with the Blackmagic camera app. Plus, you don't have to pay for it. And if I'm being completely honest, when it comes to negatives, I really don't have any about the Blackmagic app that I found yet. I absolutely love this app. So I hope I was able to lay all the apps out and some of the benefits that I enjoy, some of the negative things that I found, so that you can pick which app is best for you. So if you're wondering which one I use the most, it's the Blackmagic app. I absolutely love this app. Again, the fact that you don't have to pay for it, the fact that you do have that simple interface. But I do pay for the Filmic Pro app because sometimes I want to go back over there and I want to see what they're doing in there. Because in my head, if I'm paying for an app and if you're going to make an app subscription based, that means that you're probably going to be updating it more frequently, bringing us features that the other apps don't have. Unfortunately, so far, I haven't seen that yet from Filmic Pro since I've started my new subscription where I'm paying for it. So hopefully we are able to see some updates that would make the subscription worth it, because I'm all for paying for it if they can make it better than the Blackmagic camera app. Either way it goes, that's my opinion. Let me know which app you guys prefer in the comment section below. Which interface looks the easiest and most simple to you? But until next time, if you guys are interested in how I rig out my iPhone 15 Pro Max, you can check out this video right over here. Okay, so typically I start in Notion for planning out all my videos, and I really don't do scripts as much of let me turn this backwards. And I really don't do scripts a lot. I actually mainly do like outlines. And so what I actually have in Notion though, I'll show you guys because it's pretty dope. It's something called Ultimate Brain, and it's partnered with the Creator Companion. It's made by another YouTuber, and I'm in the Notion app. So what it has is it has a ton of different stuff, but one of the things you can do is actually plan out your content for YouTube and for other different, brands and stuff like that. So in here, I have my videos, I have ideas that I can put in, but I also have a progress board. And so as I'm working on a video and moving it along the way, this one's already done, so I need to drag it over here to complete it. I can move the video along. So this one's already done too. See, I can move that to complete it. And this is the one we're working on. So right in here, I have kind of my outline, and I just go through, I write it all out. Typically, I would have been able to use the products for a while, right? And so I'm not really having to do a lot of research. I'm just actually putting down my thoughts here. And then when I get to the, record, actually, I'll show you what I do when I get to the recording process. So typically after I get done making the script in Notion, I will start to film the talking head A-roll part, which is over here in this little setup And today, since I don't have the table in frame on the shot, I can view it from here just to make sure everything's good. But also, I could do like my notes and stuff over here as well. So yeah, a little simple setup, 200D, not even all the way up. I'm not even sure what it's at right now. It's only at, oh, it is all the way up. It's at 100%, so that may be too bright. So if I take that off, I can probably, so if I pull the brightness down, I can probably pull this ND filter off. Then I just have like a little fill light here. Sometimes I'll use this as a kicker. So we'll see if I'm gonna use it today. Got my little man here. And mama, they're gonna watch me film. This handle here actually has a 1TB SSD built right into it. So whenever I connect my phone to this actual SSD, I can then record directly to it automatically. Just got done filming all of the A-roll, like the sit down talking head. You guys saw me recording all that. Now, while it's fresh on my brain, I'm gonna go ahead and go film B-roll. Typically, I would edit all of this that I just shot now, cut it down, and then like put markers on the timeline where I know there needs to be B-roll, but I have it all in my head right now. So I think I'm gonna just go ahead and try to film all the B-roll parts so I don't have to really wait to fully edit the video when I sit down. So in my last video, one of you guys actually had a pretty valid statement, a valid comment that you made when I talked about my rig for my iPhone 15 Pro Max. And that is, what do you do when you have a monitor set up or you need to connect a microphone? And I actually had already thought about that. I don't know why I didn't include that in the video, but you just wanna buy two things. You wanna buy an Anchor adapter like this. Maybe you guys can see that there. Just a simple one. I'll include this in the link in the description. And then you want a Anchor MagSafe battery. I'll also include this one in the description. And honestly, it's pretty simple. You just wanna make sure the circle is in the right orientation. You want to take some hot glue and you just wanna glue it on there. And obviously make sure that it's in the right direction of where this is going down towards a USB-C port on the bottom so that you can plug right into the phone. And I know y'all may be like, dude, that's super ghetto, but like this, like watch this, just watch it. So now you can MagSafe on the back of the iPhone. You can pull this out, plug it right in, and now obviously you have a hub here. Okay, so that took me about, I don't know, like 20 minutes, but I got everything I need. I did run into some issues with the cable coming from the adapter to the actual like SSD. It's a 3.0 cable, but I think you need faster than that, so you definitely want to make sure you have a fast enough cable. I know that's why I'm having the issues that I'm having. Recording to the Ninja from the iPhone was a huge success. I was wanting to capture what I was seeing on the screen of my iPhone so that I could show you guys like legit what it looks like in the tutorial or throughout the video, and I was able to do that. Now there is an issue whenever you're filming in a native camera app and you're using a monitor where it doesn't work, like it'll only show you vertical. So for that I had to crop into a 1080p image, but in the other app, Blackmagic and Filmic Pro, it did turn it sideways or horizontal the correct way for me. And through those apps, you are able to do HDMI out clean. So if you only wanted to record to the monitor, then you could do that, which is obviously nice. As far as the film rig goes, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like how it's set up right now. I think I'm gonna make some modifications and make like a 2.0 video or something. I would like this to be on the side as a handle like here instead of here. And I would also like this monitor to be way closer to the actual screen, because right now, like this setup is, like I'm looking, if I'm filming, right? Let me show you what I mean. So if I'm filming, I'm looking here and I have to go down here, and I don't like that. I would rather it be like stacked right on top of here, which I definitely can do. I just need to put the handle where the SSD is somewhere else. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I really am curious of what you think of this new format that I'm trying, where I show kind of the behind the scenes of everything. I want to do this on the end of each video because for a while I've thought about how to implement obviously vlog style into this kind of tech YouTube space, but also behind the scenes to help you guys who are creators who want to try to get a similar shot or something, figure it out. So if you have any questions, if you have any feedback or something you wish you would have saw more or something you would have saw less, definitely let me know in the comment section below.